alone, and suddenly out of nowhere somebody comes into the cave, or you feel a presence in the cave. That really freaks people out. That really frightens people. So he was extremely frightened to see this man who looked like a human being but had a presence or the feeling or the glow of an angel. So this human being was glowing, and this, the light was filling the cave. And so Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he stood up. But before Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, could stand up properly, this man, he grabbed him with his arms and squeezed him, basically gave him a very tight hug. And he hugged him and squeezed him with his arms. And then after a few seconds or moments, he released him, and he told him in the Arabic language, Iqra, which means read or recite. It could mean both, to read something or to recite something. So he was ordering Muhammad, peace be upon him, to read or to recite. So he said to him, Iqra. And Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, obviously was confused at this point, but he remembered that he could not read and write. So, and he didn't even know what this person was asking him to read. So he told him, I am not one of those who read, meaning I am illiterate, I am not able to read. Remember, we said that his uncle did not put him in any kind of a school. Muhammad, peace be upon him, never had a formal education. He was not able to read and write. So he told this man, he said that I'm not able to read. So this man, to his surprise, gave him this another hug, another squeeze, if you would like to call that, which was harder than the first one, and that really hurt the Prophet, peace be upon him. And then again he released him from his tight grip, and then again he repeated the same words, Iqra, read or recite. And Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, once again reminded this man, I'm not able to read. Maybe the first time he didn't get what he was saying, so he explained to him again a second time, I am not one of those who is able to read. And then he gave him a third hug. Would you believe that? And this hug was the strongest. So strong was this grip, the third one, that Muhammad, peace be upon him, later reported that it was as if all the air in his lungs was taken out. It was as if he almost fainted in his arms due to lack of breath. And then he released him, and this time he said something more than recite, said something more than Iqra. He said to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, recite in the name of your Lord, the one who creates, the one who created mankind with an alaqa, and we're going to talk about alaqa today. What does this word alaqa mean? But in simple translation, a blood clot. So recite in the name of your Lord, the one who created mankind with an alaqa, a blood clot, and taught mankind what it did not know, and taught mankind the use of the pen. So these were the first 5 verses from the Holy Quran which were revealed to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, when he's 40 years old. This is officially where he becomes a prophet, at the age of 40. Before this, he's a great person, he's wise, he's young, he's talented, he is successful, he's a person with good character and all that, but he's not a prophet. But at this time, at the age of 40, this man who came to him in the cave was none other than Gabriel, the archangel Gabriel. And inshallah, God willing, we're going to talk about the Islamic concept of angels in one of the episodes later on. And he brought to him the message of God, which was these first 5 verses. Once again, recite in the name of your Lord, the one who created mankind with an alaqa, a blood clot, and taught mankind the use of the pen, taught mankind what it knew not, which is a simple translation of the first 5 verses of this chapter, which were revealed to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Now, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, obviously did not know what to do, because, first of all, what was this guy doing in the cave? And secondly, how did he know Muhammad? Thirdly, why was he asking him to recite or read? This was all weird. This didn't add up. This didn't make sense to him. Obviously, it wouldn't make sense to any of us if this happened to us. And so he did what was the logical thing for him to do. He ran out. He ran out of the cave, running out, trying to escape this presence. But what happened was that as soon as he ran out and he came on top of the cave or the hill, where he was, he saw the same person, but this time not in a human form. This time as an angel, Gabriel. And he was up there in the sky. And if you have ever been in a desert, you can see the sky for miles. If you're on top of a mountain, because it's a flat area. So Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he narrated later on that when he came out and he saw this angel with wings covering the entire sky, it was an overwhelming presence. He could not see the sky. That's how big Gabriel was. He could not see an inch of the sky. And he reports in some of his narrations, 500 or 600 wings, on either side of this angel, which obviously, in the Arabic language means a lot of wings. Obviously, he did not count them. So, it was just a moment of disbelief for Muhammad, peace be upon him. That same guy, in the cave now had transformed into an angel in his real shape and form, which was this powerful presence dominating the sky, if you would like to think about it like that. And Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, nearly fainted. And then he runs back home to Khadija, and the story goes on, and we'll discuss what happens afterwards. But there are a few things which we want to talk about before we move on with the story. The first thing is that there is something interesting to compare this incident or this story with. And that is, if you go to the Old Testament and you open up the book of Isaiah, which is one of the Old Testament books, and you go to chapter 29 of the book of Isaiah and you read verses 11 and 12, it reads something like this: "And the book is given to him who is not learned, saying, read this, and he says, I am not learned." In the book of Isaiah, in this particular chapter, there is a prediction, there is a prophecy about a man who will be given a book. And the description of this, man and the way he receives the book is that somebody tells him, says, read this. Just like what we have with Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, where angel Gabriel comes to him and says exactly what the Old Testament prophecy is talking about. Iqra, recite or read. And the book of Isaiah says that in reply, this person who's been given the book, he says, I am not learned. And this is exactly what Muhammad, peace be upon him, replies to this angel, and he says, I am not one of those who is able to recite. I am not learned. I am not able to read and write. So the interesting thing is that how closely these two incidents match each other. And the Muslims believe that there are verses like these in the Old and New Testament which prophesy, which predict the coming of this final messenger, Muhammad, peace be upon him, and him receiving a book, him receiving the revelation. And if you analyze these prophecies, they fit with the life story of Muhammad, peace be upon him, like